That's what I'm talking about. The Hobbit, the Desolation of Smaug. In Tolkienese, AU is Smaug, not Smaug. Smaug. Sauron. Smaug. You know. Don't worry, no spoilers in this review. So The Hobbit, the Desolation of Smaug is the sequel to last year's Hobbit movie, The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, and it's the second movie in the trilogy. Now, if you know me, you know that I really like The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. I own it on Blu-ray. I watched it just a couple days ago, and I still really love the movie. But, you know, I had pacing issues with it, and I realized, you know, it's not as good as Lord of the Rings. And Lord of the Rings are like my favorite movies of all time, so it's kind of hard to compare a movie to it. So, all in all, The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, I own it, it's good. The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, though, holy shit. I feel like this is more the tone of what the people wanted to see in the first one, because this one felt more like a Lord of the Rings movie than the first Hobbit movie did. This is next level stuff, how a sequel should be. You know, I had fears going into this because the last one, the main point was to bring you back to Middle-earth, and the movie did it really well. But this one, you're supposed to do a sequel, and you can't rely on the idea that Middle-earth is back just to help carry your movie, like the last one did. One thing I liked more about this one than the last one was the fact that it starts out really exciting, and it holds it for the most part throughout the movie when it, you know, cuts to credits. Because this is the main part of the trilogy. They're going to the mountain and they are taking on the dragon Smaug. And relatively speaking, everyone that did well in the first movie did well in this one. And there's no one that did bad in the first movie, so I'm saying everyone that stars in this movie is a fantastic actor. Martin Freeman is the best Bilbo you can possibly get. Ian McKellen still kills it as Gandalf the Grey. I prefer him as Gandalf the Grey than I do Gandalf the White. He's more down to earth and cooler that way. And Thorin Oakenshield is still a badass in this one. He's more Aragornish in this one than he was in the last movie. You know, everyone's like, you're the king, become the king you were born to be. And I'm like, I've heard that somewhere. Aragorn. You're Aragorn. This guy is like if Aragorn and Boromir had a kid, this is what would come out. That's amazing. That is great. I love the character of Thorin. And when I say this movie's exciting, this movie is exciting. You know the scene from the trailer where they're all like in the barrels and they're going down the river? When I saw that in the trailer, I'm like, that's just gonna be like, you know, a fun little ride for, you know, mindless people to enjoy. But really, this is probably the most exciting action sequence of this entire movie. And you know, in this scene, there's like, you know, a lot of things going on. There's sword fighting, there are people getting pinned to a log by a stick, there are arrows flying through heads, and I gotta give props to this scene mostly because of Evangeline Lilly and Orlando Bloom. And I also thought I was gonna walk out of this movie thinking, okay, Legolas's character was completely shoehorned into this movie strictly for fan service. But personally, I felt it was more of like a treat than it was a fan service because, I'll tell you, Legolas in this movie was a badass. I felt in this movie he was even bigger of a badass than he was in Lord of the Rings. And if I were to say something is better in The Hobbit than it was in my favorite movie of all time, you gotta give this movie props for that. And I really liked Evangeline Lilly's character because she's kind of like the female version of Legolas. You know, she's smart, she's witty, she's badass. And there's a little bit of a romance that's going on with her and one of the dwarves. And it's really cool to see this because it's like the best of both worlds type of thing. You know, you get to feel like it's two different things combining, and it's cool to see that even though you can totally tell she just wants to sit on his little dwarf face. And one minor flaw is the segment in the movie. There is a segment in the movie that does slow down a bit for me, but that's probably because the movie was just going at such a fast pace. It probably needs to slow down a little bit. It probably didn't even slow down that much. It just feels like it because it was so freaking exciting, like from the very beginning up until this point. So honestly, I'm gonna take back what I said. That's not a negative. That just needs to be addressed. But folks, I'm gonna get right into it. Smaug the dragon. How was he? He was okay. Guys, no, I'm just screwing with you. Holy shit! The dude was badass. He's not even a dude, he's a dragon, and it is a dragon that I will remember for the rest of my life. We've got Wicked Witch of the West, Darth Vader, Voldemort, Smaug the Dragon, one of the coolest villains to ever be portrayed in a movie ever. I just love what they did with the dragon. He's big, he's menacing, he's evil, he's dominating, he torments the dwarves and Bilbo to a dramatic point. It's awesome to see him like this. He's like a giant version of Gollum that can burn you from fire that'll come out of his mouth, and he's just so freaking huge. It's amazing. It's awesome to see this in the movie. This was the best part of this entire movie. And he was voiced by Benedict Cumberbatch, which is really awesome. I gotta tell you, that is one big batch of cumber. And now I'm gonna put some minds at ease. For those of you who thought, oh man, they showed Smaug in the trailer and it ruins it because I already know what it looks like. No, you have not seen anything yet. This guy was badass. And Benedict Cumberbatch doesn't only voice the dragon, he also does the Necromancer, which the Necromancer actually wasn't in the movie as much as I thought he would be, but the scenes he was in were actually pretty cool. But the scenes he were in, the CGI looked a little CGI-ish. The cinematography and the special effects are amazing, except for this one part, which isn't that big of a deal because the other parts, including Smaug, the CGI is amazing. And like when you first go in to see the dragon, it's so intense because like Bilbo's all going up and stuff, and it's like you don't really see him at first, but then he comes up and it's like, oh my god. You all know how it feels when like you're playing a video game and you walk around the corner and there's this real big boss that you know you're gonna have to fight, and you're like, you really don't want to, you're like, holy shit, this is crazy, oh get the fuck. No, it is like this. It is amazing and it's really cool to watch, and I was just like, my eyes were glued to the screen in this part. I couldn't get a smile off of my face for like this entire movie. And in the end, The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug was crazy, it was exciting, it was fun, visually it was stunning, and for a movie to keep a smile on my face like that throughout the entire thing, that is definitely a really good thing for the movie. And I've just been so excited since I saw the movie to say this. My friends, The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug is awesome-tacular. Am I fanboying out right now? Absolutely, but this is my opinion. In my opinion, the movie was fantastic. So, The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. Have you seen it? Have you not? And tell me, did you like the ending? So, comment below, let me know. And if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.